Hey guys, welcome back. Today we will be taking a look at rallies within a drawdown, which might provide some insight on where we can peak and continue the downtrend. In this tutorial, I'll be taking a look at the current drawdown year to date for the SPY, but you can essentially do the same for any stock and any time period. So what we're going to do in the script is find peaks and valleys using a certain percentage for the tolerance level. By indicating a certain tolerance, it will find peaks and valleys within the specified range. So I have mine set to 5% so that we don't count these local peaks as the true peak. So all these green circles that you see are the local minima and the red circles are the local maxima. And the difference between is the percentage return. All right, let's take a look at the code to see how we can reproduce this. All right, so here's some of the packages we're going to require. We're going to start off by setting our ticker and getting some data from Yahoo Finance. So let's run these two lines. Next, we're going to calculate the returns on the adjusted close. Now that we have our returns, we can get a table of drawdowns. So let's go ahead and assign that and view it. Depending on which ticker you have assigned, you'll get a similar list, and it'll be up to the user to select what drawdown you want to analyze. So just pick a row number. In this tutorial, we'll pick the first one. So let's close this out. And here we have selected the first drawdown by assigning N. So we'll go ahead and subset our stock range to that drawdown's range. So let's go ahead and assign that. Now that we have our subset, we can try and find our local maxima and minima using techchart find endpoints. So we're passing in our stock data and setting our tolerance level. And you can play around with this tolerance level by assigning different tolerances and charting it to see where techchart found local maxima and minima. But I found that for this example, 5% works just fine. So we'll go ahead and run that line to find the maxima and minima and also assign them. Now let's go ahead and plot it. Alright, so the green dots are the minima, the red points are our maxima according to techchart. If you set your tolerance level to something different, say something lower at 3%, it'll go ahead and include the little peaks and valleys we got in between. Now that we have our points, we can calculate the percentage change in between these peaks and valleys. For the most part, you'll get matching instances, but since we haven't closed this drawdown, we're missing a peak. So as a placeholder, I'm just going to set the latest value as a peak so that we can calculate the range so far. So let's go ahead and close this out and continue with the code. And if we scroll up here, so if the number of rows in max is shorter than min, we need to include the latest observation just so that we can calculate our percentage change. So all I'm doing here is testing whether or not the number of rows in max is less than the number of rows in min. If that's the case, I need to add the latest observation. So I'm going to row bind max and create an XCS object by combining the position of our latest observation with the latest stock close. And I'm going to order by the last date in our stock data. So let's run this block. Now that we have the same number of rows in max and min, we can calculate the percentage change by dividing the stock close at its peak by the stock close at the trough. And I'm rounding everything to 4 decimal places. So let's assign that as a data frame. I'm going to change the column name. Since this is a data frame, I'm going to add the start date and the end date for the peaks and valleys. Let's add that to our data frame. Now by taking the difference between these dates, we can find the number of trading days in between by using rquantlib's business days between. And I'm using the NYC calendar to skip any holidays and weekends. So I'm going to go ahead and add that as a column. And if we take a look at percentage gain, we have our rallies in percentage, the start and end date, and the length in trading days. Now that we have this data, we can calculate the median, and I'm using the median so that these large numbers don't end up skewing our midpoint. So let's display that out in the console by running this block. Let's maximize the console. All right, so the median rally is about 7%, and I believe as of today we're at a little over 5% as of Tuesday, October 4th. And the median length in business days is approximately 9. And we're currently at 2 business days since the last trough. Now I'm going to create a plot that displays these percentages on top of the peaks. So if we minimize this, we're going to go ahead and scroll up. We're going to create a chart theme and reassign the colors for our down and up candles. So let's run this block. We're going to go ahead and plot our stock data. I'm going to add the percentage rallies to our plot. And I'm also going to include the points to our maxima and minima. Let's run these two lines. And if we take a look at our plot, now we see the percentage rallies on top of these peaks. So year to date, we have had 7 rallies within this drawdown that are above 5%. The maximum being 17.5%, which ironically is next to the lowest of 5.25%. We're currently at 5.82. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops and where we go from here. But this concludes the video, guys. I hope this was useful information. I'll leave a link down in the description area to the Patreon where you can find this script. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.